Welcome back to ATL Day Ones. I'm Tenitra. That is Jarvis. And we appreciate you guys for coming back to join us. We appreciate you guys for really checking us out on all the audio platforms where you get your podcasts. And of course, keep going to YouTube for Locked On Sports Network Atlanta to check out all of our shows, subscribe, like, and of course, follow us as well. Now, Jarvis, last night, Sunday night, was an opportunity for the Hawks to tie up the series with the Heat 2-2. And I noticed something that came to me that I wanted to get your insight on. So I'm going to fall back on a couple things because Lord knows I got thoughts. But I figured the
Right.
better thing to do would be to fall back and let you answer some things, and then I'll just throw some things in because I got a whole week to have these thoughts. But anyway,
Indeed, indeed,
hopefully we'll
indeed.
have a game 5 and a game 6 to talk this through about. One thing I will say is Friday night's game, rather, game 3, shone a light on the good things that the Hawks do, everything
Right,
that's good about them, everything that's right about them, coming back after going down from a 21-0 run, right?
right.
Sunday, game 4, shone a light on everything that is not right about the Hawks in that 110-86 blowout. So, my question to you as a starting point, and I know this is loaded, so you might want to compress, but
Yeah, I got you.
loaded question: where do we start in maybe the top 1, 2, or even maybe 3 areas that shine the brightest light for you last night to say, wow, we're definitely not there yet?
Ooh, wow. I'm gonna start off with offensive rebounds. That was a absolute killer. There was a sequence in the second half, T, that just it was just like a snapshot, right? We talk about snapshots, right? Where they shot a three, missed
Yes.
it, tipped it out, got the rebound. Shot another three, missed it, tipped it back, got the rebound again, got the ball to Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler takes the ball, goes in, lays it up, and gets an and one. And I'm sitting like, oh my God. And you can just see guys just standing
Yes.
around and just
Flat-footed.
looking. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, do y'all need somebody to slap y'all in the back of the head so you can start playing basketball and understand what's
Mhm.
going on? Because that at the end of the day, T, I really believe I'm starting to get to where you are, right? Because this irks me,
Yes.
and I know you may roll your eyes, but follow me here.
Mhm.
John Collins, the guy who went on the record about coming out there and giving it all for his team, and
Yeah.
for you to sit up there and be standing around, getting into foul, giving silly fouls, and almost got as many fouls as you have points, and,
Yes.
and, and not doing the little things. Doing the
Mhm.
little things, the things that I know you can do. I know
Right.
you can go and get those rebounds because you came up big in certain areas at certain parts of time,
Agreed.
over the weekend, and
Mhm.
just being that guy and doing the little things. And then you start hitting the threes and you start adding that. You saw that you started to get the feel with the shot. But when it comes to that sequence that I just talked about,
Mhm. Mhm.
it just it's unacceptable.
Yeah.
You're willing to speak up and talk about things that you need and that you want as a player and getting the
Mhm.
guard and getting touches and everything like that early on in the season. But when it comes to when your team needs you to do that one specific thing,
Yes.
get the freaking rebound. That's all
Yes.
you have
That's
to
all you can
do.
do.
And you could not do that. That
Yes.
is the one thing that I felt like just murked. For my people in Dunwoody, that means that they were laid to rest. Yeah, last night. It's the offensive rebound. It just
Yeah.
absolutely just killed the Hawks, and it
Mhm.
continued to kill the Hawks. But that was the one thing that just stood out to me, and it just irked me so badly. T.
And that's a great one. That's a great one because low key at the at the halfway point of the game,
Yeah.
the rebounding edge was slight. 26-22 in favor of the Heat. And
Right.
that was actually there was a decent split on the offensive boards. So it was
Hmm.
very encouraging despite what the second quarter was for the Heat, right? So
Right.
you're thinking
Exactly.
all they got to do is just crash the boards a little bit more. And you're thinking John Collins, if your finger's still injured and you're dealing with your foot, probably can't give you a lot on offense. So defense is
Right.
where that better be
You
your
better
bread and butter.
live. You better
And
live
you
there.
did not live in that paint like we needed you to. And, you're thinking also at the beginning of the game, hey, advantage Hawks because Clint Capella's back, Kyle Lowry's out, right? But it didn't
Hmm.
matter because Clint Capella gave you what he could in the 20 minutes, but you already knew he was going to be limited. Onyeka gave you what he could in the moments when he was in there.
Yes,
But
he
if
did.
you can't, right, but if you can't get anything else from anybody else, if everybody else is giving at the base level, it doesn't matter that Kyle Lowry's out because everybody who's subbing in, whether that's Max Strus, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Gabe Vincent, if
Vincent,
everybody
God.
is bringing their best game in the absence of those who are not there or those who may be hobbled a little bit on the other side, and here you are down the entire 8-man rotation, giving the most basic of play against the number one seed, and you're looking not to go back on their home court, allowing them to smell blood and sniff blood. No, you can't do what you did. The other thing, Jarvis, that I wanted to say to kind of add to your one is my two. It's kind of a 2A and a 2B. 2A doesn't need
Hmm.
an explanation because you're going to get this right off the bat.
What?
Energy. Don't come in
Yeah.
here giving half commitment, half energy, half effort against a team that gives 110% effort. But really, it's my 2B because it also
Hmm.
boils down to what happened on those sidelines. We shouldn't be having a conversation in game 4 about
Right.
no timeouts in a 26-4 run when you almost lost game 3 with no timeouts in a 21-0 run. What does the timeout do? Well, a number of things. It could settle everybody, right? And give everybody just an opportunity to breathe, just catch your breath, if nothing else, physically. Could give you a
Right.
mental opportunity to catch your, collect yourself as well. Could give you an idea, Nate, your coaching staff, let's switch some things up and let's see if maybe, we do these matches or if we play zone instead of man, maybe that'll help. Or if we get, Delon in there a little bit more, which
Right.
that's the conversation we're going to have tomorrow, hopefully to drill down a little bit more there. But that could have
Indeed.
been opportunities as well. But I do lay some of this at the feet of the coaching staff because there were moments where I felt like, okay, is everybody in Cancun already? Like, have we
Right.
already just,
Come on.
checked out on everything from no timeouts to bad rotations, no halftime adjustments? No
Mm.
halftime adjustments from the Heat. So I just wanted to kind of piggyback on what you said and agree with you on John Collins. You can't be there allegedly to be a defensive weapon, if you will, an enforcer and not do that. And you also cannot be sloppy and lazy with things as basic as inbound passes. Because every
Yes.
time you do
Come
things
on.
like that, the Heat were feeding off of it. And now they're
Man.
smelling blood.
Yeah, smelling blood. Got the knife, standing over them. Like in those horror movies when you was like, "No, don't go in that room," and the killer just sitting, the mass murderer is just sitting right there, and like it seemed like the Hawks did not know that the Heat were coming when they came out like this, making these mistakes and coming out flat and not playing like we talked about. It's just hard to see that, and it's
Yes.
hard to fathom that in a game where you got the chance to tie up the series, take this bad boy back on the road, go
Mhm.
down to Miami and try to steal one down there,
Yes.
and try to get this, steal that home court advantage. And
Mhm.
just it's just hard. It's so hard for me to be able to look at this team and how they played last night
Mhm.
and the opportunity that they missed out on
Yeah.
last night because they were still in this game at halftime. I don't care what you say. That like they've done this before. We saw it on Friday, right?
Right.
With those coming from a large coming back from a large deficit. So
Exactly.
it's not like we were asking them to do something that they haven't done before.
No,
It-
no, we weren't. And we had there were little things, even just a few nuances before we wrap up, but there were little things that we were seeing as well that were just, they had me kind of like straightening my glasses, scratching my head, looking just kind of like sideways because there were so many things that made me clueless in that game. For example,
right.
I didn't understand why Kevin Herter got so many minutes. Now, Kev is definitely one who, if you,
Struggling.
yeah, and that's what I was thinking too. He's been
Yeah.
struggling in the postseason. If we think about it, Jarvis, you've got, I would say one, two. Okay, so we've got 5 games, right? If you take the 2 play-ins and now these, or 6 games, if you will. I think
Mhm.
Kev Herter has had about a game and a half worth of good play in this
Yeah.
entire postseason. So
Yeah.
why are we staying with Kev? Be fine if you want to start him. But when he's
Yeah.
not giving you anything, and another thing that I saw that you and I will, talk about and break down when we have some more time as well, and maybe as we get closer to having off-season conversation, is the little things that the Hawks did last postseason that we're not seeing show up this time. So going back to Kayvon, for example,
Mm-hmm.
even when he wasn't hot last year, he was pesky. He was gonna
Yep.
chip away and get that
Active
ball out.
hands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Active.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see any of that. I saw, like you said, feet just like they were encased in cement from everybody. And then
Yeah.
even with Bogey, yes, he didn't score a lot last night, but you only played him 21 minutes. He's the guy that just about every game he
Made
was
a
getting
killer in the fourth
hotter.
quarter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. He was getting
Killer.
hotter as the game
Yeah.
went on. So why didn't you go back to him until he became the hot hand, right? And even Gallo gave you more in game 4 than he did even in game 3, right? And so why
Mm-hmm.
not even go back there to see, because he came in low key and was giving you some presence on the board. So again, there were so many things so many lights that were shined on what the Hawks are not, that really will give us some serious pause about what happens in the offseason. But when we come back, it'll be for the culture, and we'll be talking all things that meet at the intersection of sports and entertainment. And if you want to hear what Jarvis has to say about it, what I have to say about it, come back on the other side.